From Fear to Strength. Published by Audiobooks HUB. Introduction. Imagine a life without fear holding you back. What would you do? Where would you go? Who would you become? Fear is universal. It whispers in our ears during big decisions, paralyzes us in crucial moments, and sometimes keeps us stuck in places we've outgrown. But what if fear wasn't an enemy? What if it could be transformed into your greatest source of strength? This book is your guide to doing just that. We'll explore fear not as something to run from but as something to understand and conquer. Each chapter will arm you with practical tools, relatable stories, and actionable practices to help you face your fears head-on. By the end of this journey, you won't just feel braver, you'll be stronger, more confident, and ready to tackle the challenges life throws your way. Whether it's fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown, you'll learn how to transform it into a force for good. Let's take that first step together. From Fear to Strength, it starts now. Chapter 1: Understanding Fear. Fear is a natural response designed to protect us. It's hardwired into our biology, an ancient survival mechanism that kept our ancestors safe from predators. But in today's world, fear often oversteps its boundaries. It creeps into our careers, relationships, and personal growth, keeping us from reaching our full potential. The science of fear. Fear begins in the brain, specifically in the amygdala. This small, almond-shaped structure is responsible for detecting threats and activating the fight, flight, or freeze response. While this is essential in life-threatening situations, the brain doesn't always distinguish between a real danger and a perceived one. For example, speaking in public isn't a life-or-death situation, but your body might react as if it is. Understanding this mechanism is the first step toward overcoming fear. Types of fear. Rational fears. These are fears of real dangers, like getting too close to the edge of a cliff. Irrational fears. These include phobias or fears that stem from unlikely scenarios, like an airplane crash. Emotional fears. These are fears rooted in our personal experiences, like fear of rejection or failure. Reflection exercise. Take a few moments to list your top 3 fears. Write down when they arise and how they affect your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This self-awareness will help you identify patterns and triggers. Chapter 2: Reframing Fear. Fear often feels like a wall, but what if it's actually a door? By reframing how we perceive fear, we can turn it into an opportunity for growth. Why fear feels so powerful? Fear gains strength when we resist it. The more we try to avoid what scares us, the larger and more insurmountable it seems. Instead of avoidance, try curiosity. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? The growth mindset. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that challenges and failures are opportunities to learn. Fear is no different. When we see it as a signpost rather than a roadblock, it becomes a catalyst for growth. Practical practice: Fear Reframe Journal. Every time you feel fear, write it down. Then answer these questions. What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? What's the most likely outcome? What can I learn from this fear? Chapter 3: Facing Fear Head-On. Once you understand and reframe your fears, the next step is to face them directly. Avoidance may offer temporary relief, but it ultimately reinforces fear. Facing fear, on the other hand, is the key to dismantling its power. Why avoidance doesn't work? Avoiding fear feels safe in the moment, but it comes at a cost. The more you avoid, the more fear grows. This avoidance often limits opportunities and keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Example, let's say you avoid social gatherings because you fear being judged. While staying home might feel comforting, you're missing out on the chance to connect with others and grow socially. The exposure technique. Exposure therapy, a well-researched psychological technique, involves gradually confronting fears in manageable steps. You don't have to dive into the deep end right away. Start small and work your way up. Steps to face fear gradually. Identify the fear. Be specific about what scares you. Break it down. Divide the fear into smaller, manageable parts. Example, if you fear public speaking, your steps might include practicing in front of a mirror, speaking to a friend, and eventually addressing a small group. Take the first step. Even if it's uncomfortable, push yourself to try. Reflect and adjust. After each step, evaluate what worked and what didn't. Build on your successes. The power of desensitization. Over time, repeated exposure reduces the intensity of your fear. Your brain learns that the situation isn't as dangerous as it initially seemed. Practical exercise, fear ladder. Draw a ladder with 5 to 10 rungs. On the bottom rung, write the easiest, least intimidating step related to your fear. On the top rung, write the ultimate challenge. Work your way up, one rung at a time. The role of courage. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means taking action despite fear. Every time you face fear, you're strengthening your courage muscle. Chapter 4, Building Resilience. Facing fear is an ongoing journey, and resilience is what keeps you moving forward. Resilience is your ability to recover from setbacks, adapt to challenges, and grow stronger in the face of adversity. It's not something you're born with, it's a skill you can develop. What is resilience? Resilience isn't about never feeling fear or pain. It's about bouncing back when things go wrong. Think of resilience as a rubber band. It stretches under pressure but always returns to its original shape. Key traits of resilient people. Emotional regulation. They manage their emotions instead of letting emotions control them. Problem-solving skills. They look for solutions rather than focusing on obstacles. Positive mindset. They focus on what they can control and find opportunities in challenges. Practical strategies to build resilience. Embrace a growth mindset. When you believe that skills and abilities can be developed, setbacks become stepping stones. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," try, "I can't do this yet." Actionable tip. Reframe failures as feedback. After each setback, write down one lesson you learned and how you'll apply it next time. Strengthen your support system. Resilient people don't face challenges alone, they lean on others for support. Surround yourself with people who encourage and uplift you. Actionable tip. Identify 3 people you can turn to during tough times. Reach out to them regularly to build stronger connections. Practice self-care. Resilience requires energy, both mental and physical. Taking care of your body and mind builds the foundation for bouncing back. Actionable tip: develop a daily self-care routine, such as getting enough sleep, eating well, and setting aside time to relax or meditate. The role of perspective. Resilience grows when you change how you view challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" Exercise the gratitude shift. When facing a fear or challenge, list 3 things you're grateful for in that moment. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right, making problems feel more manageable. Resilience in action. Imagine someone who lost their job unexpectedly. Instead of panicking, they see it as a chance to explore new opportunities. They update their skills, connect with their network, and eventually land a role they love. That's resilience in action. Chapter 5: Overcoming the Fear of Failure. Failure is one of the most common and paralyzing fears. It stops people from pursuing their dreams, taking risks, and stepping out of their comfort zones. But failure isn't the end, it's a stepping stone to success. Why we fear failure. The fear of failure often stems from societal pressure, past experiences, or our inner critic. It tells us that failing means we're not good enough or that others will judge us. Common sources of fear of failure. Perfectionism. Believing anything less than perfect is unacceptable. Fear of judgment. Worrying about how others will perceive you. Lack of confidence. Doubting your ability to succeed. Reframing failure. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the process. Every successful person has failed, often multiple times. The difference is how they view and respond to failure. Examples of famous failures. Thomas Edison. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global sensation, her manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers. Practical strategies to overcome fear of failure. Redefine success. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on progress. Success isn't about getting everything right. It's about learning and growing. Actionable tip: write your own definition of success. Make it specific, realistic, and focused on growth rather than outcomes. Take calculated risks. Fear often exaggerates the risks involved in taking action. Start with small, manageable risks to build confidence. Actionable tip: create a risk ladder. Start with something small, like sharing your opinion in a meeting, and work your way up to bigger challenges. Learn to fail forward. Failure is only a failure if you don't learn from it. Every mistake is a chance to grow stronger and wiser. Actionable tip: after each setback, ask yourself, what went wrong? What did I learn? How can I improve next time? Fear of failure in action. Picture this: a young entrepreneur starts a business that flops within 6 months. Instead of giving up, they analyze what went wrong, seek advice from mentors, and try again. On their second attempt, they build a thriving company. Exercise the worst-case scenario. Write down the worst thing that could happen if you fail. Then ask, How likely is this to happen? If it does happen, what will I do to recover? By confronting the worst-case scenario, you strip failure of its power and realize it's often not as catastrophic as it seems. Chapter 6: Mastering the Fear of Rejection. The fear of rejection is one of the most deeply rooted fears, often stemming from our need for acceptance and belonging. Whether it's in relationships, work, or personal pursuits, the thought of being turned down can hold us back. But rejection doesn't define your worth, it's a natural part of life and growth. Why we fear rejection. Rejection triggers feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Evolutionarily, humans relied on social bonds for survival, so rejection was seen as a threat to safety. While society has evolved, the fear remains deeply embedded. Common scenarios: asking someone on a date, applying for a job or promotion, sharing creative work like art or writing. Rejection as a teacher. Every rejection carries a lesson. Instead of seeing it as a failure, view it as feedback. Rejection often redirects us to better opportunities or shows us areas for improvement. Example: a writer submits a manuscript and receives multiple rejections. Rather than giving up, they revise their work based on constructive feedback and eventually land a publishing deal. Practical strategies to overcome fear of rejection. Normalize rejection. Rejection happens to everyone, even the most successful people. Knowing this can make it feel less personal. Actionable tip: write down 3 examples of people you admire who faced rejection before succeeding. Build emotional resilience. Resilience helps you bounce back from rejection with renewed determination. Shift your perspective. Instead of thinking, "I wasn't good enough," consider, "This wasn't the right fit." Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness rather than criticism. Actionable tip: after experiencing rejection, write yourself a supportive letter as if you were comforting a friend. Desensitize yourself. The more you expose yourself to potential rejection, the less power it holds over you. Start small. Ask for a small favor from a stranger. Gradually increase. Pitch a bold idea to your boss or share personal thoughts with a loved one. Actionable tip: create a rejection challenge where you intentionally seek out situations where rejection is a possibility. Over time, you'll grow less sensitive to it. The power of perspective. Rejection often feels like the end of the world, but it's rarely as bad as it seems. Shifting your perspective can reduce its emotional impact. Exercise: the rejection reframe. When facing rejection, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? What opportunities does this rejection create? How can I grow stronger as a result? Rejection in action. Imagine an actor auditioning for dozens of roles without success. Instead of giving up, they treat each rejection as a step closer to their goal. Their persistence pays off, and they land a breakthrough role. Chapter 7: Conquering the Fear of the Unknown. The unknown is often viewed as a vast, shadowy realm filled with uncertainty. It's where anxiety thrives and our imagination crafts worst-case scenarios. But the unknown is also where growth, opportunity, and adventure live. Learning to embrace uncertainty can unlock new possibilities and empower you to move forward with confidence. Why we fear the unknown. The brain craves predictability because it equates familiarity with safety. When faced with the unknown, it activates our fight or flight response, even if there's no real danger. Common triggers: starting a new job or moving to a new city, launching a project with no guaranteed outcome, making life decisions without clear answers, shifting your mindset about uncertainty. Instead of fearing the unknown, see it as a blank canvas filled with potential. Uncertainty can be exciting if you approach it with curiosity and an open mind. Example: think of a time when stepping into the unknown led to a positive outcome, like meeting a lifelong friend at a new event or discovering a hidden talent by trying something new. Practical strategies to face the unknown. Start small. You don't have to leap into the unknown all at once. Take small steps to build your confidence. Actionable tip: try something new each week, visit a new cafe, take a different route home, or start a conversation with someone unfamiliar. Prepare for what you can. While you can't control everything, you can plan for key aspects of the unknown. Preparation reduces anxiety and boosts confidence. Actionable tip: create a list of things you can do to feel more prepared for an uncertain situation, such as researching, asking for advice, or setting achievable goals. Cultivate flexibility. Flexibility allows you to adapt when things don't go as planned. It's about being open to change and finding creative solutions. Actionable tip: practice mindfulness to stay present and respond calmly to unexpected challenges. A simple breathing exercise can help ground you in the moment. The role of curiosity. Curiosity transforms fear into fascination. When you approach the unknown with a sense of wonder, it becomes less intimidating. Exercise: the Curiosity Journal. Write down one question about the unknown each day. For example, what could I learn from this situation, or what exciting opportunities might this bring? Answer the question with an open mind. The unknown in action. Imagine an individual who hesitates to leave their stable job for a new role. Despite the uncertainty, they take the leap and discover a career that aligns with their passion and purpose. The unknown was scary, but it led to immense growth and fulfillment. Chapter 8: Transforming Fear into Action. Fear has the power to paralyze us, but it also has the potential to fuel meaningful action. When used effectively, fear can become a motivator, pushing us toward our goals and helping us overcome challenges. The key lies in shifting your relationship with fear from avoidance to engagement. Why fear freezes us. Fear triggers the fight or flight response, which can lead to overthinking or avoidance. This natural reaction aims to protect us but often prevents us from taking action. Common signs of fear-induced inaction. Procrastination on important tasks. Over-planning without execution. Avoiding opportunities that involve risk. Reframing fear as a guide. Fear often points us toward areas of growth. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, treat it as a signal that something important is at stake. Example: a student feels terrified about presenting in front of a class. Instead of avoiding the task, they use the fear as motivation to practice and prepare, leading to a successful presentation. Practical strategies to turn fear into action. Break it down. Fear often feels overwhelming because we view challenges as one massive hurdle. Breaking it into smaller, manageable steps makes it easier to take the first action. Actionable tip: write down your fear-inducing goal and divide it into actionable steps. Focus on completing one step at a time. Set a timer for action. Sometimes, all you need is a push to start. Setting a timer can help you bypass overthinking and take immediate action. Actionable tip: use the 5-minute rule. Commit to working on the task for just 5 minutes. Often, starting is the hardest part. Visualize the outcome. Fear focuses on potential failure, but visualization shifts attention to success. Picture yourself overcoming the challenge and the benefits that follow. Actionable tip: spend a few minutes each day visualizing the outcome you desire. Engage all your senses to make the vision as vivid as possible. The power of momentum. Action, no matter how small, creates momentum. Once you start, the fear diminishes, and progress becomes self-reinforcing. Exercise, the fear to action plan. Identify a fear that's holding you back. Write down one small action you can take today to address it. Track your progress and celebrate small wins along the way. Fear in action. Imagine an artist terrified of sharing their work with the world. They start small by posting a single sketch online. The positive response encourages them to share more, and over time, they gain confidence and build a community of supporters. Embrace imperfection. Fear often stems from a desire to avoid mistakes, but perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Each imperfect step is still a step forward. Key reminder: action cures fear. The more you engage with your fears, the less control they have over you. Chapter 9: Building Courage Through Daily Habits. Courage isn't an innate quality reserved for a select few, it's a skill that can be developed through consistent practice. Small, daily habits can strengthen your resilience and help you approach life's challenges with bravery. The connection between habits and courage. Courage doesn't happen in a single moment, it's cultivated through repeated actions. Just as exercise strengthens muscles, intentional habits can build mental and emotional fortitude. Example: a person who regularly steps outside their comfort zone, even in minor ways, is more likely to face bigger fears with confidence. The role of consistency. Consistency creates a foundation of trust in yourself. Each time you follow through on a habit, you prove to yourself that you can take control of your actions, even in the face of fear. Courage-building habits. Practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from fear to appreciation. It helps you see the positive aspects of your life, reducing the power of fear. Actionable tip: each evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Over time, this will train your mind to focus on opportunities rather than obstacles. Embrace discomfort. Intentionally exposing yourself to discomfort helps desensitize you to fear and builds resilience. Actionable tip: challenge yourself to do one uncomfortable thing each day, like speaking up in a meeting or trying a new activity. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledging progress reinforces your efforts and builds confidence. Courage grows when you recognize that even small steps matter. Actionable tip: keep a win journal to track moments when you overcame fear, no matter how minor they seem. Develop a morning routine. Starting your day with intentional habits sets a tone of control and positivity, which can carry into more challenging moments. Actionable tip: include empowering activities like journaling, meditation, or exercise in your morning routine. Connect with supportive people. Surrounding yourself with encouraging individuals can boost your confidence and inspire courage. Actionable tip: schedule regular check-ins with a mentor, friend, or support group to share challenges and receive feedback. The power of reflection. Regular reflection helps you recognize your progress and areas for growth. It's an essential habit for developing self-awareness and resilience. Exercise. Weekly courage review. Reflect on moments when you acted courageously, no matter how small. Identify what enabled you to take action. Set one goal for the upcoming week to challenge your fears. Courage in action. Consider a teacher who fears public speaking but makes it a habit to practice delivering lessons confidently in the classroom. Over time, their courage grows, and they eventually volunteer to lead a workshop for colleagues. Building momentum with habits. Habits create momentum, making it easier to face challenges over time. Start small and build gradually. Courage isn't about being fearless, but about taking action despite fear. Chapter 10. Living a life of strength and courage. True strength and courage aren't about erasing fear, but learning to act despite it. As you integrate courage into your daily life, you'll find yourself capable of handling challenges, seizing opportunities, and inspiring others. A life of courage is one of authenticity, resilience, and growth. Defining your strength. Strength is deeply personal. For one person, it might mean standing up for themselves. For another, it could mean asking for help. Living courageously starts with understanding what strength looks like for you. The pillars of a courageous life. Authenticity. Courageous living begins with being true to yourself. It means embracing your values, desires, and imperfections. Actionable tip: reflect on situations where you felt truly yourself. Identify what allowed you to be authentic and how you can cultivate that feeling more often. Resilience. Strength comes from bouncing back after setbacks. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure, it's about learning and growing from it. Actionable tip: after each challenge, write down 3 things you learned and how you'll apply them in the future. Purpose. When you live with purpose, fear takes a back seat. A clear why can motivate you to move forward, even when obstacles arise. Actionable tip: write a personal mission statement that reflects your values and goals. Use it as a guide when making decisions. Courage as a daily choice. Every day presents opportunities to practice courage. Whether it's speaking up, trying something new, or facing an uncomfortable truth, these small acts compound into a life of strength. Example: a person who once avoided conflict begins to address disagreements respectfully. Over time, this habit leads to healthier relationships and greater confidence. Exercise. Daily courage tracker. At the end of each day, note one courageous action you took. Reflect on how it made you feel and what you learned. Set an intention for tomorrow to continue practicing courage. Inspiring others through courage. Your courage has a ripple effect. When others see you face challenges and pursue growth, they're inspired to do the same. Courage is contagious. Example: a parent who steps out of their comfort zone to pursue a passion project inspires their children to chase their own dreams. Actionable tip: share your journey with others, including your fears, struggles, and triumphs. Vulnerability is a powerful way to connect and encourage. The legacy of strength. Living courageously leaves a lasting impact, not just on yourself but on the world around you. It's a legacy of resilience, empowerment, and possibility. Exercise your courage vision. Close your eyes and imagine yourself 1 year from now, living courageously. Write down what you see, how you act, feel, and interact with others. Use this vision to guide your actions and decisions moving forward. Final thoughts. From fear to strength is not a linear journey. It's a dynamic process of growth, learning, and self-discovery. As you continue to face fears, build resilience, and embrace uncertainty, you'll uncover a wellspring of courage within yourself. Remember, strength isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to take action despite it. You've taken the first steps toward a life of courage by engaging with these ideas. Now, it's time to live them.